Good morning.
Morning. We are somewhere.
We're where we stopped last night outside the pub that I've forgotten the name of.
Yeah.
We've just passed the junction on the Golden Canal, the junction with the leak, and we are heading down to Froghall Basin. Yeah. It's quite early, you might be able to tell.
We're down 3 locks. We've got 2 locks to go at the Flint Mill. Where are you putting it?
George is pooping.
George is pooping.
The sun's in our eyes.
Yeah.
Sun's rising. It's very bright.
It's very bright. So, yeah, we got a mile and a half to 2 locks at the Flint Mill, and then 2 more locks till we're at the water section where we got blacked last time. So, blocked last time, not blacked last time.
Get that.
Where we got blocked last time.
Then we got 1 more lock, and then we're there.
Yeah. Well, then we got 1 more lock. Then we got like 3 miles of very narrow canal. Then we're there.
Not 3 miles, about 1.5.
It's a couple of miles.
All right, well, let's just go and find out.
All right, we're on our way.
As you may remember, this is our second attempt to get to Froghall. We first tried to travel to the end of the Golden Canal 5 days ago, but the river section was in flood, so we had to turn back, and we went to Leek instead. We are hoping for better luck today. We go past the moorings at the Cheadleton Flint Mill, where we stopped last week. There are 2 locks here at Cheadleton. We can't see much of the village of Cheadleton from the canal. The area directly below the locks feels a little industrial. There are a few moorings on the outskirts of the village, then it's into the countryside once more. We arrive at Woods Lock to find it mostly full. We just need to open the paddles and let in a little bit of water before the gate will open. This lift bridge is permanently kept open, so there's no work to do here. We arrive at Oak Meadow Ford Lock. The first thing we need to do is check the gauge below the lock to see if the river section is still in flood or not. Good news, it's in the green and we can proceed. Here's what it looked like last time. The river's dropped almost a foot.
Michael heads out onto the river section, and I stay behind to close the lock gates. George and I follow on foot, but it's a while before we catch up with the boat.
I meet 1 boat coming the other way, and although the river isn't flowing that fast, they're really pushing against the current. This is the weir where I turn left and go under a surprisingly narrow bridge. The Churnet Valley Heritage Railway runs alongside the canal between Cheadleton and Froghall, and part of Consall Station actually overhangs the canal here. Joe and George have finally caught up with the boat. And then we arrive at the last lock on the Calden Canal, Flint Mill Lock. Just a short wait while the boat in front descends. As you leave the lock, there is a red and white plastic curtain hanging down, which is used to measure whether your boat will fit through the Froghall Tunnel, which is extremely low, with headroom of just 5 feet. We've heard that the gauge is not that accurate, but it's not looking good for us as our air draft is 6 foot, and we have the solar panels on top of that as well. It's just over 1.5 miles from here to the tunnel. We're in one of those sections of canal that is like a lush green corridor, tall trees on both sides and miles from anywhere. This is a rather lovely bridge. What an unusual shape. That crack doesn't look too healthy though. It's pretty peaceful. There aren't many boats about. There's just the occasional whistle from the steam train. This is the last turning point before the tunnel. When the Calden Canal was completed in the 1770s, it terminated here at Froghall Wharf. The tunnel was completed 10 years later. Limestone was brought here by rail, and it was either burnt in the kilns to make quicklime or loaded onto canal boats. As we approach the tunnel entrance, I get to see just how low it is. I'm now in a position to see all the way down, and it dips in the middle. The boat is hardly moving at this stage. The central height is okay, but the chimney collar and the corners of the solar panels are going to be a problem. We're not going to make it. We'll have to reverse back out. It's a huge disappointment, but the canal doesn't continue far on the other side. There's just a water point and one lock down onto the Uttoxeter Basin. Thankfully, the IWA have confirmed that we have come far enough for this to qualify as a silver propeller location. We'll moor up and explore the rest on foot. We reverse back to the turning point, then pull onto a mooring. As we walk back towards the tunnel, another boat arrives. He's short enough, but he's unsure as to whether or not he will make it through the tunnel, so I offer to hop onto the front of the boat and help guide him. I'll get to travel through the Froghall Tunnel today after all. There's a cafe, and we stop for a sandwich and bonio for George. We have a look around the old lime kilns, where quicklime was made. It was a filthy, dangerous business, but it's left some interesting artifacts behind. This is the Uttoxeter Basin. Above the lock is the Calden Canal and the Froghall Tunnel. It's nice to see that a couple of boats have made it down here, even though we couldn't. The basin marks the start of the 13-mile canal that ran from here to Uttoxeter. It was opened in 1811 and had 17 locks. But it was only in use for 40 years or so before much of it was filled in. The Calden and Uttoxeter Canals Trust has proposed that it be reopened, although the new route would need to divert from the original. It is lovely down here, and well worth the effort. However, we decide to head back up the Calden Canal. There's more rain forecast, and we don't want to be stranded below the river section. Is the red and white curtain taunting us? Yes, we know we don't fit. Joe closes the pedals on the lower gates. There's the steam train again. This time Joe walks ahead in the narrow section to check if anyone is coming. Luckily, I only meet a boat where the canal widens.
Bit narrow here for passing. Just got passed by them, had to pass them, whatever. But that tree decided to get in my way. So all of a sudden, one of their passengers had to jump on and kick our boat sideways just to get out of the way. Good fun.
More narrows, then onto the station again. There's a pub here called the Black Lion, and a couple of moorings if you fancy stopping. I turn back onto the river section and pick Joe and George up. A boat sets off just in front of us, so we will have to wait for them when we get back to the loch. We arrive at Oak Meadow Ford Loch just as a boat is going in, so that's 2 boats we are behind now. Oh well. Joe and George have walked about 9 miles so far today, so they jump back on the boat above the loch to ride for a bit. I'm pretty sure George has at least another 10 miles in him though. The views from Woods Loch are pretty nice. Back through the Cheadleton locks, and then we decide to continue the last mile back to the Hollybush where we started this morning. We've been lucky with the weather all day, but just as we approach the mornings, it really starts to rain.
So we've been travelling for 9 hours.
9 full hours.
And we have travelled no distance at all.
No, nowhere.
We're back where we started.
We left the Hollybush pub and we returned to the Hollybush pub. So we have the same view we had last night, several cows over there.
It's considerably rainier.
Started like lightly spotting at the last lock, but it didn't really start raining until we got here, which is annoying.
Yeah, it just started heaving down, and then we're like, we have to be super efficient with mooring up. And I was like, where do we find people who are super efficient at mooring up?
We weren't that efficient because there was like a gap for 2 boats, and we went bang in the middle of it, and then I made us move in case another boat came.
Yeah, which was fine, but we got sopping wet.
And I swear, just as we pulled up, everyone in the pub was laughing at us.
Yeah. That was an interesting day. We made it as far as the north end of the Froghall Tunnel, and got ourselves jammed into the north end of the Froghall Tunnel. Couldn't
We weren't
proceed.
jammed in.
No, but we were in to the point where I could touch the tunnel and move us around, and I could find that, like, nope, there's no way we're making it through unless we take off the solar panels. And we'd have to open up the whole bed. We'd have to get into the batteries. We'd have to disconnect the solar controller. Then we'd have to get up there, disconnect the cables. The solar connectors are not really well designed for sort of easy disconnection and reconnection. There's like a specialized tool you're supposed to use. You can do it, but it's just a little bit of a pain.
We just decided it was too much effort for not much gain.
We weren't helped by the fact that 2 spectators, they were extremely opinionated boaters, just wouldn't stop telling us that we can't make it through, even though...
You were reversing out of the tunnel.
I was reversing out, and they're like, you can't go through. You're going to get stuck. I'm like, I'm not going to get stuck. I'm preparing and getting a sightline on this tunnel. And what I found on getting the sightline was that we would have had a very good chance of running into trouble with the collar for our chimney. It sticks out just enough, and there's this place in the tunnel where, on the left-hand side, it comes in lower than anything else in the whole tunnel.
One of the frustrating things is we had planned to get water. I mean, our tank's pretty full at the moment, but we were just going to top it up because that might have given us an inch or so on the front. But there was a boat moored on the water point.
So we sort of shot right past it.
So Michael didn't even know it was there. Like, I was walking, but I was a good few boat lengths behind you. So if I'd been ahead, I could have said, Michael, it's here, pull over.
Yeah.
But you were, and it was like on the river section, because that might have made a bit of difference, but I don't think it would with the solar
It would have made enough. It wouldn't. There was no chance with the solar panels up. We were going through that tunnel, like no chance whatsoever. But if we'd had the solar panels down to the lower bracket, we would have made it, except for the collar.
Yeah.
With the water in to the front of the boat, the collar might have made it.
But anyway, we didn't make it, which was a bit sad. So it's pretty nice down there. It's very shaded. There's like a corridor of...
Oh, yeah. The greenery is nice. There's 2 sections where it's only wide enough for 1 boat.
Yeah.
But there's a big long section where it probably would be wide enough for 2 boats, except for all of the greenery is grown in. And so it's like you're going through this corridor of green that's just really pulled in. And unlike a lot of the places where you get that sort of corridor feeling where it's all reeds, these are big, leafy...
Established
old plants. And then... The basin itself's really nice.
Yeah, there was 2 boats that had moored in there. And then there's like a cafe, Hattie's Cafe, and we went there and had some lunch. So that was really, really nice.
They do really nice secret recipe scones. And
And there's some lime kilns there. And it's like it was really busy. So
well, there's a parking lot that's quite convenient, I guess. So it's pretty easy for people to get into. And at the end of the day, at least one of us got to actually go through the tunnel.
Just as we moored up the boat and we were going to walk to the end, and then this boat came along. We were actually moored next to them in Leek the night before last. And a single-handed guy, and I don't think he'd really read up much about it, because he was like, what's through the tunnel? Can I go through the tunnel? And we were explaining that, you were explaining that it's quite low. And then you kind of said, well, I could jump on the front.
Yeah, and he's like, sure, jump on. So I crawled up to the front and I actually rode on the front of his boat through the tunnel.
Just to kind of make sure that there was enough room and stuff.
Yeah, and like I had to keep giving him a little bit of direction to move to the right to avoid the bit on the left that came down, and then
This is annoying me.
I know, it's very annoying. I think you just have to
That's better.
Okay. So ultimately I ended up riding a boat through the tunnel, got to the other side, and I was like, I've made it to Froghall, except for I didn't on my own boat. I made it on somebody else's boat.
But hey.
Yeah.
And the river section was much lower today, and so you could visibly see that it wasn't flowing as fast.
Oh yeah, no, there was like no current.
No.
Compared to like a good 3 mile an hour current the last time we were there.
I walked some of the way back till we got to the weir, and then Michael picked me up, and just as we got to the weir, this boat was pushing, well, they were preparing to push off, and as soon as they saw us, they were like, quick! So they went,
jumped off and took off as fast as they could.
in front of us, which meant when we got to the lock at the other side, we were behind them for all the locks. But never mind. Doesn't matter.
And JoJo's feet got completely muddy because there's a whole section of towpath. I got a shot of it, actually.
Well, no, you got that bit was flooded, but the whole bit of the river section was just mud.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I got a shot of the flooded bit, because it was kind of funny that there was, like several inches of water filling the towpath that you had to wade through. Like, I didn't realize it was that bad. I wondered why your feet were all brown, but that was the realization.
You don't understand my feet.
So that's our there and back again. Literally to the same point we left 9 hours ago. We returned to the same point. I don't think we're even... Maybe.
We're just facing the other way.
We're facing the other way. We're like, I don't think we've even moved a foot in either direction. We're just rotated. So that is the most lengthy, time-consuming, and difficult rotation we've ever done on a boat. So, thanks for watching. Thanks, George.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up.
Comment down below.
Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
And hit the bell if you want to get some notifications.
It's pretty nice down there. It's quite, it's very, because I walked most of the way back. Well, not most. I walked a lot of the way back till we got the weir. I walked some of the way back till we got to the weir.
We have a look around the old lime kilns where We have a quick